Truckmasters Driving School. We love taking you dropout pilots. You're just the kind of drivers we're looking for. Call 1-800 kicked out of flight school. Wait. Top Gun here with you, and I got a good one for you, folks. I have had a busy week and weekend. I was going to do a video on NFT on Pulse, and I did that even though I'm falling asleep. So I did that, but I'm so tired. There was a lot of pauses, ahs. I wasn't remembering facts, and there's a little update. They want to do a little more information, make it easier for me so I can just read. And I like that. So get some proper attention on that little Goldie, because I really do like protocols that'll pay me in Pulse. So this video's gonna be a rant at you guys, really. Thank you, Nikki Boo Boo, for such an awesome jacket. So I'm gonna have to start doing credits for the show. Nikki Boo Boo in charge of costumes and wardrobe. Bass God in charge of music, and Lank and others. I need to collect a little name database of everyone who's helped make thumbs for my video show. You guys are awesome. Really, I mean, when I was a kid, I was used to getting punched in the face for being a know-it-all. So I learned how to just play dumb pretty effectively. It was a survival technique. Nobody really appreciated the brain power. Then here I am, older in life, and finally a whole bunch of crypto nerds appreciate my math skills. For the first time since people cheated off my homework in school, I'm popular. No, I've got plenty of friends, believe it or not. I enjoy this though. I mean, with my friends, I don't play know-it-all. And apparently, this kind of skills to be able to do this kind of math is useful in the crypto space. And the rate at which I can learn is pretty decent. Combined with the fact that I already helped build Web 1.0, that gives me a leg up. That's generally my qualifications. I mean, who I am is quite inconsequential, Mr. Bond. But I'm Top Gun. I haven't doxed myself fully, but I do talk about. I'm not kidding when I say I learned bed mass off the back of a beer coaster at 8 years old, and I'm not kidding when I talk about participating in a math competition that was nationwide here in Canada in high school. I didn't even use a calculator, no joke, and I got first place in the school, top 9% of all of Canada. And I was the only person in that competition who didn't use a calculator. So, I'll never know what I would have gotten if I was properly prepared, but I thought I was going to detention when I got thrown into the competition. Funny story. So, I mean, I've had some skills for my life that I've never really gotten to indulge on, and I love indulging on them with crypto. So, I love getting into the nitty-gritty. Ooh, not my page. There we go. I love getting in the nitty-gritty of crypto and paying attention to what's going on in the market in order to understand what the next moves of crypto might be. Because I really find this to be exciting, and it's amazing how many people are kind of lost on the basics. So, really, you've got the traditional financial system where I learned at a very early age that inflation was going to rob me over my entire life. I mean, minimum wage at the time that I learned this was $6 at the time an hour. I realized I'll work for all these hours to put those dollars away, and they're going to be worth so much less so quickly. And then here it is, and minimum wage is $15 an hour. Excuse me, $15 an hour. Like, really 2.5 times what that was in just 20 years. And that doesn't even keep up with the cost of living. The rate of inflation is a joke, but it's so much higher than the CPI. It doesn't matter though. Like, I realized, okay, there's not a lot of good hedges there when my money's value is being robbed. So I need to use the financial system. But what can I invest in? Where can I really put that money? And knowing that things like, I wasn't surprised when Bear Stearns went in 2008. When banks, these middlemen that are supposed to manage my money, have been irresponsible with it. Oh, you're kidding me. They didn't listen to their fiduciary responsibility. Well, at least they all went to prison. No, one of them did in the 2008 crisis. Like, I didn't trust the system back then. I knew that things can go bankrupt, things can go bust, things can go belly up. I liked physical coin collections, silver and gold coins, collectibles. Go figure. I knew that, property was already outside of my value range. Like, there's a lot of things where I felt already excluded from the system. I'd look and be like, all right, I want to get a share in something good I believe in. Google, what's that price? $500 a share. What? Like, I can't even save up enough to buy one share of this stock. Like, I'm already cut out of the game. That's how I felt. Not much of a point to participate. And a lot of people feel that way. And they just rack up the credit trying to live their best life now with no concern about retirement or the future. Because it doesn't feel like there's any way to plan for it. When, hey, we weren't well off to start with, unless you get lucky somehow. There's not a lot of a leg up. But then, in crypto, we're our own banks. We're our own financiers. It's decentralized. There's no more middlemen taking a cut. So people don't believe the gains that can happen there. And it's no more middlemen taking the cut. I mean, there's still cuts and fees in the operations of things, but it's all programmed. It's all cut and dry. There's no extra fees. There's no hidden anything. It's right there. If you can read the code, you know what's going on. So all of a sudden, you can be in control of your assets because it can't be faked. It can't be copied. It can't, it is the blockchain essentially. So I believe there's something called the NP22 problem. The idea is sequencing cryptography, and Alan Turing, or oh my god, I get their names mixed up. The Imitation Game. If you watch that with Benedict Cumberbatch, there's some names I remember. That talks about the building of the first CPU, the basis of all our computers and smartphones, and how that was used to break the Enigma machine. That was amazing. Now, the encryption protocol behind blockchain is so amazing and so thick and built with machines that use these Enigma breaking processors that quantum computing, which is notoriously unstable so far, would be the only hope of trying to crack this kind of stuff. And the decentralized nature of the network, requiring census between validators and nodes or miners, this makes the network, even if you were to crack one system and somehow try and crack the code and edit it, it won't pass up under scrutiny. The way the code is written, if you try to change an element, it skews everything that's attached to it. Changing the hashes, the recognizability of it to all the rest of the validators. This is really cool technology. I thought so when it first came out, but I didn't understand liquidity pools. I didn't understand how you could print money. Well, it all comes down to economics, supply and demand. Enough people want this, that there's enough money that wants to get spent on it, and somebody eventually realizes, well, you can use liquidity pool mechanics to collect fees on the trading of this. Since so many people want to buy and sell it, I don't need to own it, but just by providing liquidity, I can collect fees. Little tiny percentages hardly anyone knows through the buying or through the spread, and through the buying and selling, I can sit there and make money. Now, a lot of exchanges opened up doing this and then ran away with people's Bitcoin and their money because there wasn't any law or governance over them. So KYC, banking stuff, centralized, is still important. for how we access getting our fiat in and out of the system. But once you're in the lovely land of crypto, there's bridges and exchanges and decentralized programs that then allow you to navigate and move it around, trade it into things you like, and hopefully grow your wealth. Now, 98% of it is crap. Scams. Horrible. But then there are gems. Bitcoin has proved the way to show that it is sustainable technology for over 10 years. Ethereum is your next largest competitor, fighting hard as it goes into the merge that has 7 years of tradability behind it, showing that this stuff can work. Hex is still up from its opening price by 390x. I think that's 39,000%. That's pretty good. Over 3 years, even if it is down 90% right now, it's up 39,000% from when it launched. Fun facts. So, I mean, the gains in crypto aren't a joke. Like, they really are possible if you get into good stuff. And Bitcoin's proven, and Hex is better Bitcoin through and through. Instead of paying miners to destroy the environment and energy, which they have to sell down Bitcoin price, and eventually they won't be able to mine enough Bitcoin to pay for the energy costs. Gee, I wonder what energy prices are going to do. Like, if these costs keep going insanely up, well, the price of Bitcoin has to go up, or they can't afford the power bill to run the network. Like, everyone talks about the death point of Bitcoin being when it runs out. Well, when they're not earning enough Bitcoin and it's not worth enough to pay for the electricity, that's when the network loses sustainability. And I'll do a math model on that. I will actually show you what a 500 watt power supply for a computer uses in kilowatt hours per month. Then we'll look at the different nations' prices for energy in their locations where the network validators run. And we'll see what the yearly electricity cost of just one validator miner for Bitcoin is. And then we'll see how much Bitcoin they'd have to sell to pay for that electricity and how much they can earn, even if they won all the contracts that year, which they won't. And then we'll see how long that's sustainable. That'll be some cool math because it's actually something you can do. You can calculate the price of electricity for a year. You can calculate how much Bitcoin a miner can earn for a year. You can look at the price of Bitcoin and see how much money they can get selling it off. And wow, you can do all that math and project exactly how long until they can't afford to pay the power bill on those gross power eating machines to win the proof of work contract. There's a fun fact where it's been good, it's proven for a while, but it's Betamax. It needs updates and they're not willing to change it. There is no roadmap. So for other stuff, we have Hex. And then Hex has had its own gatekeeping by Ethereum and Uniswap. So we have our own Ethereum Pulse chain coming. And then Uniswap still not kind. So we got our own Pulse X swap coming. Like all these wonderful protocols and then more protocols reinforcing the system. They're constantly going to pay us in the native token. So Bitcoin was awesome because it's a ledger. It's a ledger, a store of value that actually says, hey, I have this unfakeable store of value that's tradable in liquidity pairs. It's cool. Can't really do much of anything else in it. That's it. So Ethereum is just like Bitcoin, that unbreakable token, that ledger. That's great, but then something cool. You can program inside of it. It means you can build on it. So whereas Bitcoin's a commodity like gold, Ethereum is more like a currency in a nation, an entire land, a country that can be built on, shops and businesses on the internet. So you start thinking of it like a nation because you can build in it. Well, that's entirely much more useful than just a lump of gold. So that is why it builds so much activity. And then with all those businesses, a stock exchange kind of needs to erupt. And that's a Uniswap. Okay, so the decentralized exchanges let you swap the things that are built on top of this without going through middlemen. That's really key to the ecosystem. And we've got all that integration coming to Pulse Chain. So a native token called Pulse that lets you interact on the network, pay for gas fees to do your transactions. Pulse X, which allows the most liquid place to swap all your assets, to get the best prices and the best rates, to trade in or to just hodl. Awesome. Then there's loan protocols to create stable coins for the network. Beyond awesome. They'll pay you in Pulse. NFT marketplaces that will pay you in Pulse. And oh hey, a wallet coming, which will pay you in Pulse when Pulse launches. There are some amazing protocols all collecting Pulse's fees and then paying those fees back out to people. So I get paid in the native currency for owning a cut of those businesses, so I will always be able to transact on that network for life. I'm kind of setting myself up in a whole bunch of very cozy ways, just betting a little bit on everything, knowing that that's not just the value. I don't care what the value of any of these tokens are. I'm not selling these tokens. They pay me Pulse. They pay me the basic transacting fee, and I don't have to sell my Pulse. I can take a loan out and mint stable coins that I believe help the system. That's amazing. And eventually, who knows if fiat on ramps will accept those stable coins so you can get them directly in and out. That would be wicked, wouldn't it? That would be wicked if you could just get your money in and out, nice and simple, other than the KYC that you have to deal with. And boom, we've got engineered tokenomics designed to make the price go up in a lot of these protocols, but I'm not going to be selling, and a lot of other smart people won't be selling either. So that's going to be even extra cute on the system. It's going to look so attractive. But really, I'm looking forward to the Pulse X single-sided staking. There is no party token. Shh, go to sleep. Hush, hush. It's okay. Going to a sweet, calm pasture party token. Just let it go. Go to sleep. Hush. No party token. It was a placeholder, a concept. It was just something to show how the contract would work. So different tokens that have erupted and appeared, like Hedron, that gives out to hex stakers. And another protocol, meme coin, a doc coin for Pulse, gave out free tokens to hex stakeholders. Awesome. And I can just go and dump those if I want. Yeah, I can. That's the gravy, is those free airdrops. So Pulse X, hey, you want the richest members in the community, you can post your token airdrops here. And instead of dust attacking a whole bunch of people's wallet address in an untrusted way, you can go through a DAO vetting process and then put your token up where it looks all very validated and official. And then people can choose to stake in it. Which means, as a Pulse X holder, you can choose to put one token, all your tokens, or none of your tokens in a staking pool. And the staking pool will be up for so many days or weeks, and then it'll be gone. You'll have had your chance. And there may be multiple congruent pools running at the same time. So we could have gotten, say, Hedron or Icosa given out to the Pulse X staker class if the Pulse chain had been up and running before Alex's quick fingers got done on that keyboard. So we've got a lot of cool infrastructure coming in tokenomics, which really are going to blow people's minds. Coming to a system that's redesigning finance in some of the most beautiful ways. I really think taking middlemen out of it and distributing revenues reliably and at a fixed rate that people can count on back to the system, so you don't have to hope and pray for dividend payments from the traditional market, hope they don't go bankrupt, and all these other hopes. And yes, there's been a lot of bankruptcies in crypto central exchanges, but this isn't a central exchange. This is programming environment and tokens. It's not the cash side of the system. This is the bread and butter working elements behind it, a bunch of computers across the world working together, hidden in amongst the internet, like plainclothes civilians, running validators, keeping up a ledger database that people can come and build and play on. It's really cheap to use, really fast, really secure, and really well thought out. That's just deflationary. No inflation needed. No energy burning in excess needed. Just deflation. And what, oh my, will deflation do to the crypto world in such excess? I think it is going to be quite an awesome ride. So I love watching in the meantime because it seems to work out so well. When we go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin, let's do a little zooming out here. Let's get back to the macro, which I like. All right. Now, I've had a lot of seemingly garbage, like overall, these lines in between, not a lot of respect going on. Because we've got an overall macro trend of down. And so, yes, there's even still room to come up and kiss this. And then I think it's good night and it's over. And we're going to head for this red line territory. We're coming down. We're getting about to the end of it. Oh, look. Isn't it funny that by Christmas, this trend basically saying we should have bottomed out here? A lot of people, talk about when the bottom should be, and I wonder where they're getting this. Could be very, obvious what trend line they're looking to really be broken to show some oomph and some get up in the old girl. Like literally, it has been so long here that the price to even dare come down and touch this line would have to drop off to $5,000 virtually overnight. That's not happening. So I can delete this trend now. It doesn't even matter. But still, in the micro trend, do I have a lot of faith that it's ready to break this, or that we got to go down and feel some more pain, some capitulation before that will start to get broken out? And I do believe in more pain, because I do talk about the correlation in the financial market through the tides of the ETFs, the linking Hart's law of the financial system. Now, the NASDAQ being more volatile with Tesla and tech stocks pushing the way, Tesla and Apple, it broke the trend with a false breakout. I didn't buy it. I did not buy it. Like right here, I wanted to short the NASDAQ. I was like, no, I don't buy it. The mania is going too far. But I started to doubt myself a little bit. But I watched the SPX and I'm like, no, as long as that's in range, I'm pretty sure we're coming down. And that's where I put my reputation on the line with an Apple short, which, according to the current trend, yeah, I'm not closing that theoretical short. I'm riding my reputation down here, folks. I would be sitting kind of pretty and laughing right now had I actually had the money to open that short. There's all kinds of overvalue where Apple and Tesla have to come down to under $100 each, really, to be closer to their valuations. And that kind of pain, until it really happens, we're not going to really see proper capitulation in the market. I mean, the real pain will not be over until that happens. And I mean, even if we step down a notch to this new leg, we'll probably see a rebound, I think, before we get to $100. And that'll still be a false breakout, which will come crashing down. I mean, Apple's got a lot of room to work with. They've got a lot of money, a lot of assets on hand, not a lot of debt. They can keep buying up stocks. I mean, they've got the IMOB. Pay the rent. We want the rent. 30%, or you can't play on the App Store. We want the rent. You gotta pay the rent. So, yeah, the IMOB, they're flush with cash and they're doing all right. But when they finally take the hit, well, we're finally going to actually see capitulation in the market. But with that being said, I mean, when you look at something like Netflix, where, oh wow, $700, and they drop down to $230. Major crypto style losses, but they ain't dead. And they seem to be breaking out of their downtrend because they felt most of their pain here. They already went through it when they got down to 165. I mean, ouch, kabibble. That's about 22% or a 78% drop off. That is some crypto style drops. So even when the market drops again, they may just confirm that bottom around 165, 170. There might not be a lot more pain left as they've done restructuring, rebranding, preparing for this kind of market, getting cash rich, and that pain's already been shaken out. The sellers have already been flushed from the system. So there's certain assets which are pretty close to their bottom as opposed to the other ones that need to leg down. And so as the other ones take some bigger hits, the ones that are closer to their bottom, I mean, Bitcoin still has a 50% to drop, just like Apple, in my opinion. So it's going to still have a lot of room for that pain to finally finish off in the coming months. Question is when it does, and we see Ethereum get its kick in the teeth too, as it's coming up to about that range. Again, this earlier line of resistance, complete garbage. This line, not even going to worry about it, was a thought that is long gone. This has been the bull trend from the start, which is still supporting, but it's not really there. Like, I keep track of this stuff to see, but when it comes down, I think I want to delete this, but when it comes down, it's going to take a pause on this line. So it'll be a little pause, a little consideration, I think. It'll probably go straight through it. So right now, I've been just kind of marking the radials, and I don't think they really matter. I think the long-term matter is going to be it. It's going to come up, kiss this, and double top. And then we're going to start seeing the pain because the ETH merger is going to happen, sell the event. And the capitulation will start really coming into the market. And when it does, that's where we'll see how much Heart's loss still affects, how much pain is left in Hedron, and how much pain is left in Hex. Hedron's brand new, relatively, although it's got some larger liquidity. And Hex is low liquidity right now, waiting for the merge, and it's taken its pain. I mean, when we get all zoomy in here, it really has taken its pain, and over the months, it's been less volatile. Like, yeah, it did a major 3x, but it's really respected. Came down and kissed many a times the long-term bull trend, and traded pretty healthy up, and then kind of ran it down doing its W stuff again. Like, it really has shaken out the shellers. So, I mean, I'm not firm that it's not going to double bottom still at 3 cents, but I'm starting to wonder what kind of pain we're actually going to see. Because, I mean, the inverse Jim Cramer for your real degens, it's your best bet. It's outpacing the NASDAQ. I mean, you just do the opposite of Jim Cramer and you're 98% guaranteed to win. And he came out and said, sell crypto. You know, the end is nigh. Well, I wish he said the end of not, because like if he said the end of crypto is in, then my God, I'd be so bullish. But no, he was like, sell your crypto, and I'm like, really, because you're like always wrong. Does that mean the bottom's in crypto there, Jim? Like, I said a tradable bottom because I'm still expecting more pain through the market. But it's funny how people change and hedge their bets, and as the market has been so confused, really so confused. I mean, treasury is going up while stocks are going up. Wait, what? Like, nobody knows how to read commodities. Like, the heat maps are all over the place. And I'm still just tracking U.S. oil, and I should start tracking copper for you guys, too, because it's a good baseline of inflation readings, too. How the economy is actually doing. If they're not buying copper, the economy's not intact. And U.S. oil is the inflation. So the two of those together are a little bit better, I think. But, yeah, I am starting to wonder how much room, like, because correlation became very apparent as leveraging popped and the crashing started. But that did give some people a chance to redo it. But some people are doing some more risky stuff, some more regular financial markets. So, I don't know. Anyone that tells you that they know what's going to happen is full of crap. Now, the tea leaves at certain moments tend to indicate which of the possible futures my crystal ball shows me may come to pass. All right, yeah, I'm a mad scientist. I like looking at multiple futures, the what if game. Well, if this variable happens to this variable, we're looking at this future outcome. And I don't like to talk about some of them because they're pretty scary, and other ones not so bad. But I don't really know which one's happening because I can't tell you for sure. I wouldn't expect the U.S. to come out and go, "Hey, don't worry, we're going to test a nuke this week, but it's nothing to do with you, Russia. Don't get worried. It's just a test." I mean, playing with nukes. That's how somebody loses an eye. I'll tell you. I was watching the markets when I saw a sea of red on a Wednesday night, and I knew something happened. I didn't know what. I saw commodities and crypto taking a crash dive, and I'm like, oh, what's that here? And I went on the news, and everyone's like, how did you know? The invasion happened so quickly. You were on top of that. Like, oh, the market told me. So, I mean, hey, if somebody loses an eye playing with nukes, the market's going to scream about it. Uncertainty and fear, So, I don't know what's going to happen that's going to cause pain exactly. And there's different levels, but the Fed has to get inflation under control. And even when it looks like it's under control, if the Fed turns around and gets too happy too quick, inflation will come back with a vengeance. It's like when you stop taking your antibiotics too soon. Don't do that. So, really, the Fed's got to camp down and do this right. And if inflation comes back, they have to do it all over again. So let's hope they get it right the first time, because they'll screw up the economy for a long term. And doing this right can be a little bit tricky. So these are the facts that we were faced with. And the Fed isn't in complete control, because inflation is always, always a monetary phenomenon. If you don't have the ability to print money, you don't have inflation. And right now, even if the Fed doesn't print, well, there's 3 trillion real dollars, there's 50 trillion debt dollars. Like, leverage, creating debt based on assets that won't necessarily retain value to just create debt dollars, which are just as good as fiat. It's another form of inflation, a monetary phenomenon that's not within the Fed's control unless they crash asset prices, which is kind of in their control. And the other thing with inflation is, even though all this debt and leverage is available, and even though they might be printing money, the banks might have plenty of capital, if there's not a spark, something to set it off, if you don't have the kindling, such as a sudden supply shortage, which normally work themselves out, or other things that, yes, set it off, set the game of musical chairs on fire, and then it begins. So we get this whole mass situation where too much is out there in the system, and finally the call got made, like too much tension, too much demand, and not enough supply, and even more reduced supply lines because of various things that come up, and the whole game gets kind of exposed, and that's the situation we're in. So as asset prices crumple and things settle in, we'll see some deflation if the Fed doesn't turn around too soon and gets it under control, and then starts easing slowly enough that it doesn't come back and you don't go straight into a depression, and they still somehow manage a soft landing. It's all going to be okay. But if they mess it up, we're looking at years of pain in the traditional market. But even with all that being said, you've got countries trying a hope in a BRICS dollar, which is a joke because the underlying countries and assets are crumbling themselves. China and Russia are not doing well. So a BRICS dollar doesn't make sense, but you've got enough people losing faith in their various communities and countries and establishments that, hey, crypto makes sense. So, I mean, it's never seen a depression before, but, I mean, Teddy Roosevelt had to make buying gold illegal in the 1930s during the Depression in order to keep the dollar stable and keep people from running out of the crashing dollar to commodities, because commodities were that valuable. And I mean, eventually the purchase and sale of gold was legal again. And so I wonder, if such things might even happen to crypto, which would even really enhance its value beyond that. We'll see. We'll see what kind of pain comes through here. I'm hoping for some mass capitulation this winter, for the bottoms to just scream in and people to admit stuff, and we could just get about fixing all the assets and getting into the next bull run. I mean, if we keep having some more mania rallies, it's really going to prolong finding the bottom. It's funny how the market makes the Fed's job harder. I pay attention to all this because it matters to crypto. I've had to pay attention to geopolitics, finance, treasuries. Oh my God, trust funds. Understanding what a trust can actually do, because you can sell shares in a trust. Oh my God, what a fun fact that you can sell shares in a trust. So that fiduciary responsibility, where you can't just go gamble with people's money like a drunken sailor, that limits you from getting into crypto or buying farts in a jar or whatever weird investment you think is going to make money. You can't just gamble the money away. You have to buy practical assets, securities. But trust, shares of trust, those are securities. You can buy those. And trusts, those can spend like drunken sailors. They can buy up crypto and farts in a jar and whatever else they want to buy that they think might appreciate in value. And I mean, Grayscale was very interesting in its value to Bitcoin. I mean, fun fact, all of a sudden, a trust could start buying Bitcoin off of the market to never release it again and trade shares of Grayscale instead. So even the Grayscale sells, unless there's such a mass outpour of it, they don't dump Bitcoin back on the system. So the Bitcoin price just keeps going up and going up. Like, Bitcoin maxis want to complain that Grayscale takes away from the price of Bitcoin, but I'll believe that adds to the price of Bitcoin. I mean, having a trust that can buy it up and then sell it as shares so pensions and retirements can buy into it. That's really a cool financial tool. As much as I hate the centralized financial system, they have a lot of money. And their money is the same color as everyone else's money. I would gladly like to take their money from them. And so the only way I can take their money from them is if someone comes along and puts Hex in a trust. Wouldn't that be cool if there was a Hex investing trust? I think that would be cool. I don't know. And then some people would hate that centralization, but I would love knowing that I owned Hex before such things went mainstream, and all of a sudden people were buying Hex for pension funds. I think it would be pretty awesome to know that I got in before that. That would be pretty cool. I don't know. I'm just talking, speculating, just fun things with crypto and the financial market. They're not totally separate because of liquidity pools. You need to turn money into crypto somewhere and crypto into money. Because of this, unfortunately, until somebody makes a decentralized fiat exchange, and that would be cool. But until someone makes a centralized or decentralized fiat exchange, which you can interact with without breaking your local KYC laws, until such things exist, we're kind of stuck playing with the system that we have. And KYC is not all that bad. I mean, if your home is making it too difficult on you, there are other places to live. I'm not saying abandon all hope, but maybe take a prolonged vacation. Make sure you get a multi-year visa. Wait until the dust settles. I don't know. A lot of people like to talk gloom and doom. And I get it. There's a lot of bad things going on. I'm not oblivious to it. I recognize them. And yes, they're bad. But it's not necessarily ever all bad. Just the same way it's never all good, yo. So I don't think this is the collapse of the financial system. I mean, the normal arc is 150 years for a fiat currency. And this currency started going fractionally reserved, what was in the 40s? So, I mean, 80 years. And near the top of that 150-year cycle. Yeah, even with the Fed printing really, really fast, so it seems to us. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be next year. In my lifetime, sure. In a couple decades, I'm thinking my magic 8 ball says outlook not so bad. Or maybe outlook very bad, however you want to phrase that. But this year, next year, no. Have some pain, shake inflation out of the system, lose some asset value, deleverage a little bit, and then boom, printer back on and back to full blast. And gives us some more time to enjoy crypto growing in the dark, in the good ones. The ones that aren't reflection tax tokens, that aren't just random beam pumps, that don't give you any new utility while they try to part you with your money. You want to invest in somebody who's building something new, a protocol that has utility, brings something cool to the system that you couldn't do before, that works, that's been security audited twice, no admin keys. You don't want anyone to be able to change the stuff afterwards. You want immutable code, written in stone, unchangeable. That's where it's at. Proper security audits, good functional code, 100% uptime, no admin keys. It's really not complicated to know that your system can't be manipulated. No one can game you. That's what trustless is supposed to be about. Now, some cryptos, some protocols will have to have still some elements. Some people go, well, you can't have any admin keys. Well, we need to update a list. Like, this depends. It interacts with other protocols in the system. As there's new protocols, we need to update it. That list needs a password and access. But the rest of it has no admin keys. Oh, you broke the admin key protocol. We're never going to touch you. They left off the admin keys of the token, of the smart contracts. They just have one for updating one portion. Okay, that can be vetted in the code. If that's true, they're doing good. The whole thing about crypto is innovation. Working, built products that take something that was good and make it just a little bit better. So not giant leaps, but nice small progressions. And this community has really gotten the note on rewarding its community members for their engagement and their involvement and their passion. So this is a very friendly system that is going to go back to the user. Like, my God, back to the user. I wanted to make a reference, but I don't like that token at all. But playing with the discs, Flynn. But I do not like that token. Oh well. So it is what it is. I like Paul's chain. I like the cheap gas fees. I like all the innovation. I rambled quite a bit about it because I feel bad about not having the video I intended. So I just rambled at you pretty much about what I love about crypto. The power back to the people and the ability to see through it, to vet it, to like trustless in the fact that I can read the code and I can trust in the code and I can know that, all right, that code's never going to change. That's great. I'm not going to get ripped off. Nobody's going to embezzle my funds. Nobody's going to do this and that because they're in my wallet. I am my own bank. I own my own keys. Hoorah. That's pretty cool. Now I have hope for the future. Now I have hope of retirement. I have hope of fixing my car. Of maybe one day owning a house. maybe getting a gold Zamboni. No, I don't. I think even if I was filthy rich, I mean, I'd probably get some nicer clothes, but and I might get my car fixed. But I love my car. My 2006 Honda is awesome. I just get it fixed. I'd still drive it into the ground, and then I'd buy another used Honda. And then when I'm a multi-billionaire, I might buy a new Honda. Like, I don't, I don't. The best way to keep your money is to not spend it on things you don't need. Not financial advice, just my plans. I'm not going to be rich. I'm going to be wealthy. My money's going to work for me. I've done enough work in my life. It's time to be able to benefit from my brains without breaking my back every day. I think there's still a little bit of drywall mud in my hair from today. I am so tired. It's been a long day. Not sure if I've rambled or repeated myself. I probably sound like a raving lunatic. It's great. Yeah, get crypto. This lunatic who's obviously too much of a Tom Cruise fan. I'm not a Scientologist, I promise. Yeah, I really do believe in crypto. I'm glad you made it to my channel. I'm glad you put up with me for this long. And hopefully you've thought of, learned something new, or you've thought of something you can add to the comments that I should be looking at or thinking of. While I'm looking at the future growth of systems built like Hedron, built with Hex in mind, and Hex, and systems built for Hex. Yeah, I'm excited about the future coming, and I've got to do some videos. I realized I can do some math to explain Hart's Law, and I can do some math to explain the death point of Bitcoin. And that's what you guys really love, is the maths. So I'm sorry. It's been a long weekend. You can blame Walrus. All right? 3 hours of my evening. I mean, oh, I was shanghaied. I owe you, Walrus. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Oh, my. Oh, we should have a Twitter space to explain the tokenomics of Pulse and Pulse X. It'll be fun, he said. Joe, just come out for a little while, he said. Be a co-host, he said. Oh, Top Gun won't mind hosting the space while I just ditch him suddenly, he said. I'm not bitter. No, it was a lot of fun. It really was a lot of fun doing that space, but I found out after he ditched me and like an hour and a half into it that thing almost lasted 3 hours. It's so exhausting after a full day of work, and then I had to get up. And then I had another awesome 2 hour conversation. At least it was one-on-one, so it's not so draining. And then I had to go to work. And then I came home to try and make a video, and then my computer went into updates. And then, of course, I had driver conflicts. Oh, NVIDIA's software crashed, so went corrupt, so I had to reinstall it. It was just one of those days. And so here it is. It's almost midnight where I am on a Saturday, and all I want to do is go to bed because I'm so old and boring. But I promised you guys content, and the video I made wasn't good enough, so that's deleted. So here I am, making another one. You better love it. If you don't hit that like and subscribe, rawr! Okay, alright. I think I've had enough of a rant at you guys and talked about all the things that I love about crypto. Not anywhere near. I just barely skimmed the surface. It's a random rant to fill up the space because I'm sorry about not having content. I have been drawn in other places. I did make 2 videos last week. Only one on my channel. One was on someone else's. Tomorrow, I'll have KG and Don on. We're going to talk about I Am. That's going to be a fun math video. As for today, you got a bit of a ramble. And I'm sorry, there's not more to it. Okay, guys? This is just me being honest, being straight with you, and giving you some content. So you know I haven't abandoned you in a bear market. I bought a Hex for an 8th time. As I finally had some powder in the keg. I might have missed the 2.9 dip, but I got this 3.9. All right. Yeah, and I didn't miss it. I called it out for everyone. All my friends jumped on it. I was just broke for the 2.9 cent dip. That's how life goes. but I still shared the alpha and let my friends hop on that and enjoy it for all summer. Because I'm honest. I might joke, I might kid, but I'm not going to lie to you. I got no reason to. Really, I think that honesty is what my channel is all about. It's a bit of my opinion, a little bit of me talking out of my butt. There's a lot of fact, a lot of math, a little bit of assumption, and a little tad of wit if you appreciate it. So thanks for tuning in and staying watching for so long while I've gabbed at you. And we get to watch the market bounce and trade around. So, yeah, until next time, folks, stay frosty.